everybody. Happy Friday. I'm here with Charlie Weaver, the bartender, and I've known Charlie a very, very, very long time. I think Charlie knew me in diapers, and we go way back. And that's a story I'd like to tell you today. A story that goes way back in the 60s, Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1960s. And this is a story about Dootles. And in my mind, he's like the greatest wiener dog that ever lived. He almost got me killed, and that's kind of the story. But very, very smart wiener dog, very irritating wiener dog, little red wiener dog, ears that kind of drug the ground, legs about that big. But if you don't think wiener dogs are smart, I mean, their brains are only like that big in that little bitty head, but they're smart. They're smart. And so here's what happened. So going way back to Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1960s, we had a store named Get and Go. And that's right, Oklahoma. Get, G-I-T-N-G-O. Get and Go. Get and Go. Get and Go. That's an Oklahoma store, by God. And that's what we had. And there was a chain of them. And they were convenience stores. This one was within the neighborhood. So I didn't have to cross a 4-lane busy road. I could ride my bike or walk and not have to cross heavy traffic. So my buddy Randy and I went to Get and Go. We were young kids, and we looked, Get and Go served something called an icy. And I still see them at places. But Get and Go, that's where the ices to me were born. And, get Coke, cherry Coke, frozen, get the old brain freeze going real good, where you just have an ice pick in your head. You drank it too fast. That's, I do that with pina coladas and daiquiris. Still, to this day, haven't learned. But they had ices, and on the side of the cups of these ices were icy points. And they were basically just, a coloration. The icy cup was like a polar bear, red and blue, different sizes. And if you got the bigger sizes, the more icy points you got on the cup. So they were like triangle points on the cup that you as a kid had to take the cup home. So never go with COVID today, but if you found the cup, which we found lots of them, you had to cut out the point off the cup. They wouldn't take the cup, of course, so you had to cut the little points off the cup and keep them. So we hunted for icy points all summer long, on our bikes, walking, whatever. And, if there were tobacco spit in the cup, we'd pour it out and we'd get the icy point. Just didn't matter. So for the icy points, you say, why did you get icy points? Well, you go up to the counter and you can trade in your icy points. You remember that, Charlie? And, you'd put them in baggies and, they were like green stamps, and you took them in and you could trade them in, and you'd get for like 500 icy points, you'd get like a plastic dinosaur, maybe a T-Rex, maybe a fake snake you could put under, Julia's desk, something that maybe cost $0.25, but by God, we were going to get it. So that's the icy points. So we went every day to Get and Go. Either if we had enough money, we'd get an icy. If not, we'd look for icy cups. And we'd take Dootles. Dootles was a good little tracking dog, a little wiener dog, little red wiener dog, and we took him, and every day we went by this same house, it was right behind Get and Go, had a kind of a low fence, and the biggest Great Dane I remember ever. I didn't even know dogs got that big. I mean, he was bigger than I was and could look us eye to eye through the fence. We walked on the other side of the street every day, and every day Doodles would go up to the yard and piss off that dog And the dog would run to the fence, and him and Doodles would do their thing. Doodles would run up and down like Doodles was just going to kick his ass. And the Great Dane said, yeah, I don't think so. And would run, you know, this deep, just ferocious bark. And Doodle, you know, like Fred Flintstone. So this went on every day, and we didn't think too much about it. We walked on the other side of the street, but this August day was hot. We were in the afternoon, hot, I remember. I don't even think we had shirts on. So Randy and I, who owned Doodles, were walking back, and Doodles was going out. We were yelling at Doodles, Doodles, come on, it's too hot. Leave him alone, leave him alone. And we were probably 25 yards down the street, and I remember looking back and seeing the Great Dane with his head down, backing up, slowly backing up, backing up, backing up, backing up. He looked up, took 2 runs, and jumped the fence. I said, jumped the fence. And that's why this story is blazoned in my mind, because I didn't think I would live past that day, past that moment. I knew Randy and I both are going to be mangled little boys. I don't even know how they're going to stuff us in the coffin, because our parts are going to be everywhere. But that's the thoughts I had. I'm dead. And thank you, Doodles. Thank you, Doodles, for that. So we ran. Charlie, we ran as fast as we could. Me and Randy. It's like, who's going to outrun the bear? But we were neck and neck as usual, Randy and I, neck and neck. And I remember, it defies physics, but Doodles passed us. He ran between us. His legs were just motoring. They were smoking. They were a blur. Legs this big were outrunning Randy and I. I remember his ears were straight back in this little wind he was creating. And he passed us, the little turd, passed us. Now I know I'm dead. I'm just waiting for the chomp on the back. Is it going to be the leg, the arm? I don't know. I'm going to keep running, and I'm now running behind Doodles. Randy's running, and then kind of Randy and I get bumped, and I'm thinking the dog's taking us down. No, the dog ran between us also. The Great Dane passed Randy and I, and he was headed for Doodles. And he caught Doodles. It didn't take him long, and he caught Doodles, and he bit Doodles in the back. He slung up Doodles in the air. He chomped on his back. And Doodles' legs and arms were flying, and he and threw Doodles. And Doodles landed in the yard and didn't move. He rolled a few times. He's gone. Doodles is dead. And Randy and I just stood there. We were watching this, and I couldn't even run anymore. I was winded. And watching this, and the Great Dane slowly turned his head to Randy and I, looking us right in the eye. And I thought, okay, well, Randy's a little heavier than I. Maybe he'll go for Randy. He got more meat on him. So Randy and I start backing up. The Great Dane looks at us. Great Dane starts walking for us, and we're just kind of waiting. We didn't even run. And the Great Dane just looked at us like, bring that little red so-and-so by again, and you'll see what happens. And the Great Dane walked to his yard and lay down by the fence. And I'm like, I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm not bleeding. I'm alive. Randy, you're alive? Yeah, we're alive. And then I looked down, and Doodles is lying there dead. And I thought, he saved our life, little Doodles. And I thought, no, he outran us, though. Charlie, even as a kid, I'm thinking, he did outrun us, so that's not really, putting himself between us and the Great Dane. And we walk over to Dootles, and I expect blood and guts, and Dootles just looked at us, lifted his head, looked at Randy and I. Is it over? Can we go home now? What? You're not dead? No, I'm not dead at all. I was just waiting to see kind of what he was going to do to you guys. I'm like, so Dootles jumps up, he's fine, and starts trotting home. And Randy and I look at each other. That little dog was playing dead. That little dog with a brain that big, he was playing dead so he would live, and the Great Dane would eat us. So, I didn't say too much on the way home, and I was a little mad. And I'll just say that was the last time we took Dootles with us to get and go. That was it. No more Dootles. But, smart dog. Dootles, I'll give you that one. Take care. I'll see you next Friday.
On this lonely road, trying to make it home, doing it by my lonesome, pissed off, who wants some? I'm fighting for my soul, God get at you boy, you try to go God, fall back, I go hard. On this lonely road, trying to make it home, doing it by my lonesome, pissed off, who wants some?